What up, Matt?
What up, Mac?
What's up, man? How's you doing tonight, man? Good to see you. You've been kind of busy lately, man, doing all that work and stuff, and you finally made time to come in and talk with us.
Yeah, it's been a while. I have to work almost every day, so don't have much time to do anything.
Hey, you know what? There's nothing wrong with that, So, man, we got this new podcast going on. This is the debut. I'm really excited about this. We got a lot of good things coming up. We're going to touch on a lot of things, back to our roots, back to Scotland, back to Ayrshire in the Highlands of Scotland, and all what that entails. Go through some family history. I know we got some family that's going to be watching here, and they're going to be intrigued as to what we come up with and what we have to tell them. And I'm just really stoked to share this stuff, man.
Yeah, me too. I mean, it goes back a lot farther, and some places I never expected that my family tree would go to.
Oh yeah, I mean we've got information that goes all the way back to the 10th century and a little bit before that even. So it's going to be really cool stuff, man. So I guess we can get started, man. Introduce ourselves, as the name says. I'm Eldon McInville, and this is my cousin over here. This is Andrew McInville.
Yeah,
So
Andrew McInville. I'm the basically both of us are into the paranormal. I mean, I'm basically the team manager of PD Region Paranormal, and Eldon, you're the basically the co-founder of Global.
I am the co-founder of Global United Paranormal Foundation. I started out with Arizona Paranormal Research Investigations, although I didn't start there even. I actually started out freelancing by myself, researching, learning by myself. I had some experiences and I wanted answers for it, and I didn't really at the time realize that there was a lot of organizations out here that can give answers and that can give information in that field. So I just kind of dove in on my own to learn what I could, and that's how I kind of got started.
I think that's how most of us get started. You kind of get the interested, or you may have something happen, and you're kind of gets you intrigued of what's going on, and you just kind of do it on your own until you find somebody else that has the same interest you do.
Yeah, it's a very common thing too. I've noticed with a lot of people in the paranormal, that's how they start. They have experiences of their own. They can't explain it. They're looking for answers, and they either go diving in on their own or they reach out to somebody that they know that might know something, and that's how they get involved in it. And bam, here you go. It kind of becomes an addiction, and the more you find out, the more you want to learn. And as it goes, the more answers you get, the more questions come about.
Yeah, for sure. Because this field doesn't have any true answers. It's
Nope.
always going to be your basically your hypothesis compared to the next person's.
Exactly. Nothing definite in this field. That's what's intriguing about it, and the versatility, not only that the field itself offers, but the people that are in the field too is, there's a lot of versatility in that, and a lot of different ideas, a lot of different, perspectives and opinions. And, unfortunately, there is an unfortunate side to this, we have egos in the field that, gets in the way of that. However, those of us that have that para unity or para family as we're now going to these days. We're using para family. When you got that at heart, we welcome those different opinions. We welcome those differences, and we try to learn from that and learn from one another. And that's what it's really about.
Yeah, this field is definitely a family. You Everybody needs to help everybody out, and no two people may want to investigate the same way. And what how you get answers and how somebody else gets answers can be two completely different ways you may get the same answer though.
Absolutely, and I think with your organization, PD Region Paranormal, I mean, I believe that PD Region also came to be by two co-founders that had their own teams, and they came together and formed PD Region. If I'm not mistaken, you were there at the beginning, right, Andrew?
Yeah, yeah. Robert Humphreys, who's one of the co-founders, he's my cousin. We had two groups before PD Region started, and we had Total Paranormal Investigations and we had CPR, Carolina Paranormal Investigations, also, and what's Carolina Paranormal Research.
Now
And
I'm gonna have to put you on the spot. So, with those organizations, were you with any of those organizations before PD Region?
yeah, both of those came before, and both of them involved me, my cousin, and my brother was in both of those too.
So, putting you on the spot, and because I know I believe Robert Humphreys is actually in the audience, so he's watching. So I'm going to put you a little bit on the spot. So, compared to the way things were running and how the organization ran before you guys became PD Region, how would you say things are now? Are they a lot better now that you're reformed under PD Region with, I Brian Horton and Robert Humphreys, or do you think it was a little bit better then, or does it have its disadvantages and advantages?
Well, I mean, with PD, it hasn't been any better than it is now. But with our other two groups, the problem we would run into is we would have cases, and then half of them would fall through, or we would have a case, and then maybe we'd go 4 or 5 months with nothing, and we just couldn't get over that hump. But once we got with PD, everything is just kind of went on from there.
Just charged up. That's kind of exactly how it happened with Global United. We were kind of at a stalemate, kind of at a stagnant stand in our own organizations, and once we came together, it was like a firecracker under it, and it just kind of blew up and just went crazy. And I can't say at all that I miss AZPRI at all. I think that where it's at now with Global is a heck of a lot better, and we're doing a lot better things. That's for sure.
Yeah, for sure. Same thing with PD. I mean, there's no telling where we'll be in the next 6 months, a year, because everything keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger.
And the best thing about it is now PD Region Paranormal and Global United Paranormal Foundation, we're family. That means we're sistering together, we're teaming up together, and we're one and the same at this point. And that's really awesome. And a lot of people don't know that, Andrew.
Yeah, yeah, we're basically, we're not exactly one group, but we're going to help each other out any way we can. And really, with any group that has any kind of problems, any questions, need any help at all, I mean, you can always contact any of us in these groups. We'll be glad to help any way we can.
Absolutely. So, before we continue on, Andrew, there's an app out there. There's a platform that a really good friend of mine, Brian J. Laverty, he's developed. And, um, some of us don't like Facebook for obvious reasons. They get a little nitpicky here and there. And sometimes you find that drama stuff going on. And you know the platform I'm talking about, Andrew?
Oh, sure I do. I mean, it's Parapost. And if you ever, anybody that wants to, you go to parapost.net, or if you have any kind of Apple device, go to the iOS, go to Parapost, download the app. Any Android device, you go to the Play Store instead. Same thing, go to Parapost, download the app. It's social network for anything paranormal. I mean, you can chat with us. We'll have shows, podcasts, all that kind of stuff on it.
Absolutely. And the best part about it, Andrew, is it's drama free, man. No drama.
For
I
sure.
love it.
That's what our groups always say. No drama. That's our only rule.
Outstanding. Yeah. And you'll see the little gold para there right below me. Just look, find out where that thing is, man, and just follow it everywhere. Follow it on Facebook, follow it on YouTube. Just go everywhere, man. And just Brian Laverty's done a really good job with that. So
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely. So little bit of history, I guess, on the family, and this is going to be more geared towards the family, because I'm sure there's some in there wanting to see what's up with that, you know. So
Yeah.
I sent you some files there earlier, Andrew.
Yes.
Did you want to share yours? You want me to share? If you want to share yours, share yours.
Let's see. Got it right. Trying to see where I will saved it at. Oh, I know where I saved it. Let me go out.
There you go. We're going to give a little history on myself, and this is kind of like a family tree kind of thing. And what we're going to do is we're going to take this back and show our roots to Scotland, going back into those days. So, um, for some of you that's not related to us, this might be a little boring, and I'm sorry. We got to do this.
Let's
It's
see.
going to set precedents for later shows. It really will.
Yeah. Let's see. Go back in here because I can't find where it saved at. I'll go in my where you sent it to me. Here we go. And which basically I know most of my people in my family, they were a bunch of Johns that went through my part of the family.
It was
Let's see.
John's. What's really unique about that is the 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 ancestor that you and I are related through. His name is Turner McInville,
Yeah.
and everybody down between Turner and you, every single grandfather on your line is John. Every
Yeah.
single one of them.
Yeah. Because my dad was John Roland McInville Jr.
That's
Um,
correct.
and he was from 1940, he passed away in 1998. And then, of course, his dad was John Roland Sr.
Right.
And
And
he was,
and
and he
his
was,
name. Yeah, his dad's name was John Thornwell.
Yeah,
That
John
would be
Thornwell.
that would be your great grandfather, and his father's name was John Nicholas.
Nicholas, and then his father's was John Jackson.
Correct. And then it goes to Turner McInville, which
And
is where
almost everybody on my side, almost everybody was in Darlington except for the first that was in Franklin, North Carolina.
yeah, absolutely. So what happened, Andrew? What is your brother's name, John? Do you have a brother named John?
No, I mean that name basically, unless somebody else ends up having it, that's pretty much that name's gone now because none of us are named John. No.
Yeah, somebody came to you and your brother and said, not gonna happen. We're done with the Johns. That's it. We're squashing it right here. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, my side down, it was a little bit more chaotic on the names. We've got a Robert there, born in 1814. Of course, he passed away in 1858. And then you got a James Pickney McInville. They called him Jim instead of James. And then you got William McInville, which was my great great grandfather. And then you had James Aaron, which was my great grandfather, going down to Cecil. And then Ronald being my father. And then, of course, myself. So, the names are a lot more sporadic than all the Johns in your line.
Yeah. A lot of the same areas though, around Rockingham and Darlington in that same area.
Yeah, yeah. Rockingham, North Carolina, Darlington, South Carolina, definitely in the Carolinas. Over there in the Kakalakis is where we're from there, boy, I'll tell you. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So tell us a little bit about the haunted history in the Kakalakis in that area. So some places maybe you've been to that you've seen some pretty good activity. Anything from the family wise, maybe a family cemetery, family home or something that you can recall?
Well, I mean, in the home I'm at right now, I'm still at my mom's right now, but this basically home is what got me into the paranormal. Um, it was basically spring break 2006, I think it was, and I still don't understand why how it happened, but we basically had some friends over, me and my brother, and they ended up taking a picture at some point that night, and there was something behind us or something behind them. They couldn't figure out what it was. So that led us 2 or 3 nights going through the house, going back to the room, checking out, and we ended up. They got a bunch of EVPs out of that room, basically the house, whole house. And one time I went back there, and you could see going through outside of the window, and the windows are a good 5 feet off the ground. But you saw like three cloaked figures go past that window, go into the other room. And it turned out basically almost feels like one of my friends was possessed after that too, because he called back a night or two after that and was breathing heavy, basically had was growling and stuff like that. And we almost think it was somebody that was one of us here was kind of down and depressed in a way, but got better about it, and it jumped off of him and went to that person.
Gotcha.
And
Wow.
that's basically what got me into doing this. It got me interested, and now I want to try to help anybody I can that goes through the same kind of situations I may have went through, because it scared us, and a lot of the stuff we threw away, got rid of because of what we thought might be.
Growing up, I grew up at a time in my younger childhood days back in the 70s. Now I'm going to just tell my age. Sorry, guys. Back then, you didn't really speak of things and of the paranormal and stuff. They think you're crazy. They want to throw you in a
Yeah,
loony bin. They want to throw you in a hospital. You know, and so you can't really discuss things like that. Um, but that's when I really had my very first experience, and it was pretty devastating for me. I never shared it with anybody. Matter of fact, I just within this last decade actually shared it with my mother, and she was quite shocked at my story. But she also shared a few things that I didn't know of the time either. So, it's pretty enlightening. But that's, I think, when I had my first experience. And then, of course, my father, he passed away. And like right thereafter, man, things got real crazy for my mother, for myself, for my sister. Things got real crazy. We started experiencing things, and it was just off the chart, some of the stuff we were experiencing, and then I just kind of put it in the back of my head over the next decade. And then I had a really profound experience. I was an over the road truck driver for many years. And I was actually in Florida. And one night I actually had an apparition show up in my passenger seat and visit with me for an entire trip from Miami to Tampa. So now if you're not, talk about thinking you're crazy. I thought maybe I'm tired, man. I just got to go to bed, something. You just really start dismissing things and you start thinking, am I going nuts or what? You know,
Yeah.
but things like that happen, So, but look here, man. So PDRP, real quick, getting on PDRP, you guys got an event on May 27th. Tickets are available online at pdregionparanormal.com. It's on the events page. Axe to Grind Coffee Shop in Hamlet, North Carolina. Y'all get over there, get some tickets for that event. You're not going to be let down. PDRP, them boys over there, Brian Horton, Robert Humphreys, Drew McInville, man, they're going to treat you real good. They're going to show you a good time. Get over there and don't miss out. May 27th. Make sure you get over there in Hamlet and check it out.
Yeah, tickets are limited too. We only have, I think, a total of 15 tickets to sell.
So y'all better hurry up and get them tickets because they're selling quick. They're going to sell quick.
And you're gonna have a lot. You got basically a meet and greet with us, like a paranormal one-on-one. We tell you what all our equipment is, what it's used for. You can go to the back, throw axes. You can get you something to eat. There'll be a little coffee shop that has some stuff to eat too there, and then investigating with our equipment from when we turn the lights out until 4 a.m. or as long as people want to stay there, basically
Hey,
until 4.
hey, if you're lucky, man, them boys might serve up some of the Iron Bean coffee, and y'all got to try some of that coffee. I hear it's good stuff. I'm not a
Yeah,
coffee drinker, so I really can't tell you firsthand. But boy, let me tell you, I've been hearing the stories of this coffee, and it's crazy. It is nuts good, man.
it's the
Um,
best we've ever. I mean, I don't drink anything other than that now. I mean, and if you go to ironbeancoffee.com, order you anything on there, use the promo code PD, the letters PD. It'll give you 10% off your first order, off that order. Try anything on there, anything's good. I mean, my favorite would either be Ride or Die or Butter Pecan.
10% off my first order.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, hey, I got to go order me some. I'll be back.
Yeah, I
Oh,
was never a big coffee drinker up until I started drinking Iron Bean. I mean, I drink it all the time now.
yeah, yeah. So it looks like Robert Humphrey says that Iron Bean will be served. That's what they sell there.
Yeah, that's what they started doing. They're the only place around here, anywhere around here that sells Iron Bean.
That's nice, man. That's really good, man. So you guys are gonna serve up a really good event for these folks. That's I can't wait to see it and hear about it, man.
Yeah,
So
it's
it's
gonna be a
gonna be
fun
pretty
time
good. So like I said again, y'all go over there get you some tickets for that event. They're gonna treat you real good, and you're gonna have some dang good coffee.
for sure.
So let's see here. Let's go back. Let's read some comments. What do you think, Andrew?
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's see. Robert Humphrey says, just saying, Drew is an awesome team manager. We at PDRP are so proud of it. Oh,
Thank you.
right on, man. Good job. Good job. And let's see. Again, Robert Humphrey says, Uncle Buck, I miss him.
Yeah,
And
I do too.
that's yeah, that's pretty deep, man. Let's see. Brian Laverty says Brian Horton got the tattoo today of Para the Ghost. Outstanding. I saw a picture of that. So let's talk about that for a minute. So Brian Horton got a tattoo of Parapost Para on what? What did he
It was
get it on?
on his arm,
Oh,
like
I'm
the
glad.
inside of his arm right
I'm
here.
sure glad he didn't get it on his butt cheek, man. Because I was gonna say, man, uh-uh. But that's dedication, man. That's dedication.
Yeah,
Let's see. Uh-oh. We're being spied upon. Global United Studios says para family. Absolutely. Just like Brian Horton would say. What? What would Brian Horton say? Time to shock the system.
yeah,
Time to shock that system, boy. And that's what we're going to do. And I really hold confidence that Brian's going to help us do that. How about that?
yeah.
Or not?
He will.
Yeah, absolutely. So, man, what do you think our topic should be coming up, man? Should we like? What do you think? Maybe we can get some ideas from the audience. Anybody
Yeah,
got any ideas that they want to see come up from the McInville Ghost Talk? Mostly Scotland, Ireland, UK. Robert Humphrey says, "Shock it." Absolutely. Brian Horton said, "What up, family?" That's
What's
right.
up?
That's right, man. Pair of family, Brian. Let's see. No ideas. Boy, it looks like everybody's kind of got brain locked, but that's all right. So, here's the deal, man. Castle Swing definitely going to be coming up. We're going to discuss Castle Swing,
For sure.
where that kind of ties in. We got to do that, man, because, we control Castle Swing at one point or another. You know,
Yeah.
the Finlay Stone House, which they called the Castle. We're going to talk about that one. Um, and let's not forget, dude, we are not going to forget Castle Edinburgh.
Yeah.
Edinburgh we are definitely going to cover Edinburgh Castle. We'll get some guests on here, some paranormal teams that are actually out there in the field in Scotland that's investigated these locations. I've already been on kind of on the horn with some of these guys. They're going to come talk about that, show some evidence, and explain some of how that ties into. Um,
And definitely also, if any of the family has any experiences that they've had and they want to get on, let us know.
That's right. That's right. If you're family man, you're a MC Mac, you're a McInville, a McInvale, a McInvale. We got probably 15, 20 different variants, right, Andrew?
Yeah,
And
for sure.
I don't think very many people can actually pronounce our name correctly. But I'll tell you, it stunned me. It really stunned me when I first heard Robert Humphrey say our last name. I'm like, that man said my name correctly.
Yeah,
I don't get that very often. I'm like, that man pronounced my name correctly. I'm like, what's going on here? And then, of course, he said, I'm related to some McInvilles in South Carolina. They're in Darlington. And I'm going, huh, I'll be damn. That's where I'm from, So if
yeah,
anybody's wondering how this happened, I'm going to tell you right now, the piece of glue in the middle was Robert Humphreys because he's the one that kind of put it together and, kind of lined things up for us. So that's how we kind of did it. Uh,
yeah. All through Facebook.
That's right. That's right. So we ought to bring Robert Humphreys in and just have him tell that story for us. What do you think?
Yeah, let's do it.
You think we ought to do that? I think
Yeah,
we're going to bring Robert Humphreys in and we're going to have him tell that story, you guys, because it's an awesome story, man. So without any further ado, I want to make sure he's good and ready in the backstage there because I can see him kind of peeking in on us. So I'm going to go ahead and bring him in right now and let's welcome Robert Humphreys.
What's going on, fellas?
What's going
what's
on,
up?
Robert? So we're
Not a
talking.
whole lot.
So we're talking, Robert, a little bit about this event you got coming up there on the 27th, man. Serving up some Iron Bean coffee and all that with your limited tickets going on that people are going to have to get onto because it's going to go quick.
That's
So
right.
we're talking about that. We're talking about a little bit of history of our family. But one thing that we're really discussing right now is how it come about that me and Andrew came together. And I was explaining to the audience that you were that piece of glue that kind of put that together for us. Can you tell our story for us there, Robert?
Sure, man. Started out, me and Brian was actually on a podcast. I think it was Beyond the Woodline, and Eldon was in the chat. And he was commenting in there. I didn't know who he was. I just seen his last name, and I know that's my family's name also. So we were sitting there and we were doing the podcast and Eldon had kept commenting and commenting and commenting. And after the podcast, Eldon sent me a message and he's like, "Hey, you said my last name correctly. Nobody never does that." And we got to talking and I was talking about you, Drew, and I got to mentioning you and I got to mention about your dad, and I told him your dad's name and he's like, "Well, hold on a minute. Let me look at something." And he pulled up his family tree because he's got it. You've seen it, Drew. I mean, he's got the whole
Yeah,
family tree all the way up to before time. And he seen your dad on there, and he followed it up to Mr. Turner McInville, and that's how he put two and two together that y'all related. And I'm like, you know what? I said, we need to get you in touch with Drew. And that's whenever I sent you the link. We all got on StreamYard together and had a conversation, and ever since then, man, everything that's been going on with PD and with Global, it's just been gold, man.
Yeah, so there you have it, guys. That's the story behind it. It really wasn't anything involved. It was just very ironic how it all came about and how we found it out. So it was really cool. Um, so And it just like Robert said, it just took off from there. And as it goes, family's family. We got to work together, man.
Yeah.
The family.
The family. That's right.
That's
Hey,
it.
hey, Robert. Para family, brother. Para
That's
family.
right.
Got
The
it.
family. And Brian's absolutely right. And just to speak on that before I go backstage, the word para unity, whenever we first got in this business, was a really big deal. And it meant a lot to us paranormal investigators who's been in the field like me and Drew, 20 plus years. It really meant a lot. And then to see a lot of teams and a lot of people just take that and trample on it, it's kind of like stepping on the flag in my opinion, honestly. So me and Brian got to talking and we got to thinking, and over the last year we have talked about trying to do something for this. And Brian just, I mean, Eldon, you were part of it. Out of the blue, he just come up and said, there ain't no more para unity. There's now para family. And he said, let's shock the system. Let's make everybody understand that if we pull together, we work together as a team, as a family, things are going to happen good for the community and good for everything that we're trying to accomplish. We all have the same reason, and if we work together, we can actually take this field beyond where it's already at.
Well, and the thing about that too, Robert, is para family is very it's perfect for it because, like in family, you can't teach someone to be family. They the family or they ain't, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
And that's really what it boils down to. You got to have it in your heart. You can't teach it, you can't preach it, you just practice it.
That's
Plain
it.
and simple.
It's not about, going out and saying para unity, para fam. It's not about that.
Mm-mm.
It's about that when you see Global and PD working together and you see Parapost Global and PD working together and all these different organizations that is in our collab, when you see us working together, we're not talking about parafamily. We're showing it. Just
That's
watch
right.
what we do. We're
That's
showing it
right.
every day.
That's right. Absolutely. You've got to, if you want somebody to follow in your steps, you've got to lead by example. And I think that's a very good example. Parapost, PD Region Paranormal, Global United Paranormal Foundation. Global obviously has had some wrongdoing done to us, by other organizations. And we just recently had a meeting on some circumstances. And, at the end of the day, my statement is very clear. Um, it doesn't matter what's been done in the past, but business is business and the field is the field, and that's where it has to be. There's no grudge there. If they're going to get involved in things, they got to get involved, and that's
That's
pretty
it.
much what it boils down to. And you got to be able to work together.
Well, that's one thing that makes these podcasts and stuff that we're doing together, like you and Drew. That's what's going to make them so successful and work together. Because number one, yes, y'all are blood related, but number two, you're para family too.
That's right.
And so
Yeah.
y'all got two different ties to each other. That's just going to blossom. I mean, what y'all doing, man, is amazing. And if anybody comes up and says, well, this show ain't a lot about paranormal, it's about family history, you're exactly right.
That's
Family
right.
history is paranormal.
That's right. And that's what it boils down to because it is family. Let me tell you, my organization, all my members, to me, they're family to me. Everybody up to the newest member of the organization. I've got some excellent, members on my team: Donna, Sherry, Anna, Karen, you name it. I've got some good people. Kenny, he's, that's my brother. That's family to me.
That's right.
Brian James, especially. That's my other co-founder. And let me tell you, if me and Brian, we get on the outs, it's a bad thing. So we got to stay strong with each other and keep it like family because that's what's going to keep it together.
That's exactly right. I mean, you look where it's took PD. We started with 4 members from day one. We let everybody on every team, my team and Brian's team, we weeded out the drama. I ain't gonna lie to you. We let a lot of people go.
Oh yeah,
And my team, Drew, is the only one that I kept. And when me and Brian got together and we formed PD Region Paranormal, Drew was the very first one I brought on. Brian's very first one was Rick Horton, which is his dad. And us four is the start of PD Region Paranormal.
that's a good thing, man. That's a good thing. So what do you say to all that, Drew? He said a mouthful there, man, and that's pretty deep what he just had to say.
Yeah, it is. I mean, basically, family is what's kept our group going. I mean, we started out as family, and all of us that started out are still there.
We're gonna end it as family, brother.
Yeah.
There you go. So, when we're talking about Parapost Network, we're talking about PD Region Paranormal, we're talking about Global United. Guess what? Like glue, we're stuck, we're here, and we're going to get better at it. We ain't going anywhere, guys. We're here to stay.
That's right.
So,
And
and it's here for the right reasons.
Yeah.
just people need to pay it. Before I go backstage, I'm gonna say this: people need to pay attention because there is really big things fixing to surface from that family.
Absolutely. So, while I'm at it, I'd like to get a word here from our sponsors, if you guys don't mind. So let's go to a little commercial break, shall we?
Roll it.
That's right. Get yours today.
And we're not just doing that because they're our sponsor. These things are really amazing.
Oh, they're great, man.
Yeah.
I love that orange cream, man.
The sweetest fish is good too, brother.
What's your favorite, Robert?
I'm gonna have to go with orange cream.
I think that's my favorite too. But the other day I tried the citrus, and that's actually pretty good too. How about you, Andrew? What's your favorite?
Favorite's orange cream for sure.
Look at that.
Yeah.
Orange cream around the entire table.
But I'm gonna let a cat out of the bag. I got an email from Ghost yesterday morning, and there is a new flavor, and it's getting ready to drop next week. Bubblicious strawberry.
Man, you had to let it go. So you know what that's going to be, right?
Bam! There it is.
There's your lineup of flavors of Ghost Energy drink. There are 8 of them, folks. 8 of them.
And more is coming.
Absolutely, absolutely. So I don't know if I want to. What is it? That sour melon or what? Isn't there like a sour melon or something like that?
Sour, I think watermelon is Warhead. And it's good too.
Yeah.
I tried it.
I'm not brave enough to try it.
It's not sour. It tastes
Yeah, it's
like
not.
it's just a little tangy watermelon.
Yeah. So yeah, that's some good stories, man. And I really want to dive a lot deeper into the Scotland side of things, man. I really want to go over there because there's a lot of stuff happening in Scotland. Let's face it, there's a lot of old history over there. The castles over there, Edinburgh, Castle Swing. So I really want to dive into that. And for those of you who don't know Castle Swing, just by chance, that's exactly the castle that sits behind me and Andrew on our thumbnail. That is Castle Swing. It's kind of in ruins today. Doggone it. It's like a big open void right in the middle. Big old courtyard. Not really any rooms to it. That sucks.
Yeah.
But you got to figure this thing came out in the 15th century. So what more can you ask for the oldest stone castle in Scotland, right?
You see
Yeah.
what Laverty just said? That's my family history.
Brian Laverty got some Scottish history, does it? I wonder if we ought to bring that man aboard here and let him talk about it, because that's what this is about. This is about the Scottish roots, Scottish paranormal, everything over there in the Highlands of Scotland where we're from. And yeah, I'd love to have Laverty on here if he's got some Scottish roots. Maybe he can shed some light onto his area over there. We can put some connects together. That would be awesome.
Yeah. Be good. Because really, you think about it, family, somewhere down the line, almost all of us are related in some way or another.
Oh yeah, it's cool. Some of the research that's been done, and just so we're squared away here, that family tree that Robert Humphreys is referring to, that was actually put together by a distant cousin of mine and Andrew's. Her name is Sanja McInville. She spells her name Vale. With the help of Patty McInville. I think you know who Patty is as well, Andrew.
Yeah.
Now we were able to tie in our Scottish roots by another distant cousin. He's out of Texas. He runs his own law practice out there, and his name is Reed McInville, and he did a lot of the international work on that project. So there's a lot of stuff that I'm just looking at Brian Laverty's comment here. I got to share that. Oh God, I could be related to Ellen. Bite your tongue there, Brian.
Welcome to the family.
That's right, man. That's right. So there's a lot of work been put into this by those three, and that's where my hat goes off to right there. That's where the work came from. That's who did the research. That's who put all of this together. So we actually have it all the way down to our DNA signature. So it's all pretty cool. Um, and I'll actually, you know what I'll do? I'm going to do this because I'll share. Do you have access to that family tree, Andrew, or no?
No, I don't think you ever actually sent it to me.
I'll have to get. Well, it's going to have to be Sandra to actually send you an invite to it because it's actually her tree. But I'll definitely share it here real quick and kind of show the audience what that tree kind of looks like as far as it going back and the work been done in it. Can y'all see my screen there, or do I need to expand that? I probably need to expand that there. There we go. So when you look at this tree, I have this kind of set up right here. This is actually Andrew's side over here, where it comes down from John J from Turner. This is my side over here, and this would be my father and my mother right here. And it comes up, and both let's see here, John J and my ancestor Robert W. They were brothers, and that's where me and Andrew are related. So we're related to Turner McInville right there. But if I zoom in on Turner, we actually have Turner's DNA group signature right there. And there is the DNA group signature for the McInvilles, Mackervale. I don't care how you say it, want to pronounce it, want to spell it. Just don't call it McInville, and we are okay. So there you go, folks. It goes back. And one more thing here, what I was going to actually show you is that this tree, we've been able to discern on this. It goes back to 1620. So it definitely goes back to the early 17th century. And we can actually trace from there on the Macmillan side, which we are a descendant of the Macmillan clan out of Scotland, which is a legitimate going clan today. Pretty cool stuff, man. It
Yeah.
is pretty cool stuff. So now y'all understand the music in the intro. You understand some of the, things that you're seeing there at the beginning of our podcast and what that means. It's about the family. Let's see here. West Garth is my family name before I was adopted. That became Laverty. That is obviously Irish. Ooh. No, we're I don't believe we'd be related, Brian. However, there was some uprising there between Scotland and Ireland there for a while, buddy. So I think maybe we might actually be more enemies than we could be family. Uh, that's cool, man. That's cool. I could definitely look into that and see what I can find. See if I can get some information on the Westgard family, and see if I can dig something up on it. So I'm actually kind of doing that right now for Robert Humphreys. Yes, yeah, it is Scottish. And the crazy thing is, Brian, is like with us, technically we're Scots Irish in our descent, because that's kind of, it's a back and forth thing. But you're probably looking, instead of being Scottish, you're probably looking more Scots Irish than anything, I would say. That's really common in back in those times. So I don't know if you've ever heard that term, Scots Irish, but not
Yeah,
Scotch
I have.
Irish, but Scots Irish. I don't know. Don't ask me. It all works out though. So yeah. So what have you heard about Edinburgh Castle, Andrew?
I haven't heard a lot other than just what little bit of history I've kind of read. Not a lot though.
You haven't heard a lot about Edinburgh. How about Castle Swing?
Not a. I mean, I really a lot of those castles and stuff out there. I mean, I wasn't like big into history growing up, so I didn't really read a ton on them. Just from what we heard in school, really. I mean, I know of them, but I don't know a lot of the history.
Right, right. Well, you know what? That's going to be fun because we're going to dig into that, especially you and I, and we're going to research this, and we're gonna share with the audience what we can find, and we're going to really dig up. So I know that Castle Sween has a very old graveyard next to it, and there's some actual records of that graveyard. And I'm really intrigued on that because we could actually have family that is in that graveyard. There's
Yeah.
a bunch of effigies that they keep inside the actual church. There's a church there, an old, very old church, and actually the roof to it is no longer there. So what they've done is they've basically encased the roof with like glass, so it's like a glass roof. And they have actually found a bunch of effigies in the area that have belonged to old tombs, and they've put them on display inside that church. So I'd really love to research some of those effigies. I think that would be really cool, man.
Yeah. It'd be cool to eventually one day be able to go there.
We need to do that. So I think what we need to do is like yourself, me, Robert Humphreys, maybe, Brian Horton. Let's get Brian James involved in that. And let's just go somehow and go investigate Castle Swing.
Yeah, that would be cool. I'd love to do that.
Currently they say it's closed, but I bet we can get it in.
Yeah, probably so.
I'm betting any amount of money. Robert Humphrey says, I'm game. Now, let me tell you what, I can't leave a really good close friend of mine out of the mix here because he is a very close friend. We started out as uh, we started it out as a working relationship, and it's developed into an actual friendship. Somebody that I call my friend. In other words, it doesn't matter whether the working relationship ends or continues. They're still going to be my friend, and they're going to continue to be my friend. And ladies and gentlemen, that's who I'm talking about. Castle Lightwing, or Cassidy Lightwing. Man, Cassidy Lightwing he's done a lot of good things, not just for the foundation, but for me personally. And he's got a lot of intriguing stuff going on, and he's a little different. He's a little what he likes to call weird. But let me tell you what, weird is good. Sometimes you need weird to set you into balance. Make
Yeah.
sense? Some people think that weird gets you off balance, but Cassidy's got that weird that gets you back on balance. If that makes
Yeah, I
any
mean,
sense.
if everybody was the same, I mean, it wouldn't be life wouldn't be the way it is now. I mean,
Right, right.
it'd be boring overall.
Exactly, exactly. So let me share a couple comments there. Robert Humphrey says, I'm game, probably talking about us going to Scotland and investigating Castle Swing. You know what? Let's get them plane tickets. Let's do it, bro. Let's do
Yeah,
it. Let's go. Let's do it.
I've never been overseas. I've really never flown before. I'd love to do it.
Yeah, I think that would be great. Brian James says, there's my brother right there. Co-founder, Global United Paranormal Foundation, Brian James in the house. That's my brother right there. How you doing, buddy? Yes, I think it would be awesome. Let's plan it, Brian. Let's put it on the calendar, buddy. Let's do it. And the Lion. Oh, there's Cassidy Lightwing, my buddy right there. So I was just telling you about Cassidy Lightwing. And hold on. Right on, Cassidy. All right, let's see here. Oh, look at there. And this is my sister. She says, "Hey, very interesting stuff." Wow. Yeah, yeah, we got some family probably be kind of blown away at some of the stuff. And I'm telling you, we're not letting everything out of the bag on this episode. Okay, so there's more stuff coming, more information coming, more episodes out there. We're gonna tie a lot of things in. We're gonna really get into it. We're gonna get nitty gritty with it. We're gonna get down and dirty. We're gonna bring up some skeletons and stuff like that. Let's leave the skeletons in the closet. What do you think?
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff you came to me about this, and I was just really surprised at where the family was back in the day. So
Oh yeah, man. Oh yeah, and you know, it just the War of the Scottish Independence was a big thing back then. And if you don't know what that is, just Google it. Just Google it. There's more involved than I can really put together in one show. And maybe if you want, just let me know. Maybe we can get bits and pieces of it, and we can pick it apart because I love history. So that's one thing we can do. But look that up, and you'll see where the McMillan's was a part of that situation, and they were kind of torn, man, because at the time, you had the ruler, and then you had the rebellion, and part of them went with the ruler, part of them went with the rebellion. Well, that's where you had the split between the McMillans and us, because part of us went one way, the other part went the other way. Well, we're the one that went one way, which were the rebellions. Ah, shocker, right? Shocker, the rebellions. Yes, I'm a rebellion. I love to rebel. I don't like to go with status quo because status quo it just expects too much from you. I like to do it my way. I like to do
Yeah.
it. I like to do it the fun way, right?
Oh
So
yeah. Also need to mention our show next week is going to air 2 hours later. It'll be at midnight my time, and I think it'll be 9 o'clock your time.
yeah, absolutely. So next week, we're going to be airing at midnight Thursday night Eastern time. That will be 11 o'clock p.m. Central, and that's going to be 9 o'clock Pacific time, which is now Mountain because Mountain and Pacific are on. Well, Mountain Arizona and Pacific are on the same time. You know, so yeah, it's going to be airing at midnight your time.
Midnight Eastern. Yeah.
Yep, yep. Because Drew's got to work, and it just is what it is. And I can't just do the show by myself because otherwise it wouldn't be the McInvilles. There's a reason it's plural. Okay, not singular, it's plural. So Mr. Humphreys kind of put that together for us. And what do you think? Did you really get a good look at that there? Let's look at that for a minute. Let's look at that. Let's see here. Let's pull that up. See if I can pull that up real quick. Let me pull this. There we go. Nice. Wow, she just kind of did it on its own. I like that stuff. But Robert Humphreys put this together for us, and I'm really moved by this photograph, this thumbnail. It really looks good. To explain what that is our family. That's our family shield there at the top right. That's technically actually the McMillan shield, which is the one we use, which is the one we're definitely under. And then if you look there between the words and McInville's, that's our actual crest, and that's what we use. So for those of you that don't really know, the family shield that you see at the top right, a lot of people like to use that shield, but understand that legitimately in Scotland, it's not really used by family members. It's something to signify the chief of the clan, not necessarily the members. The members use the crest that you see right there, that you see between the word the and McInville's. So that is the one that you'd want to be using as a family member or a member of your clan, not the actual shield at the top right. Make sense?
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't know that, but those of you here, you know it now.
Which basically is part of the shield. Just the top part of it is what we use.
Yeah, yeah. So, in another program, we'll talk about definitely the breakdown of that if needed be, and we'll see if maybe somebody remembers it next week. Maybe they can ask us for it, and we'll answer that question. So maybe we'll use that as like a little test thing, see who's going to be back next week. Ask us about the family crest and break it down what the meanings of each piece is and what each element is, and we'll definitely explain that next week because we can do that for you. Absolutely. If you want to know what the breakdown of the McInvilles mean with that family crest, and just understand that the McInvilles is a McMillan. The same thing, just a different spelling.
Yeah.
That's all.
There's a lot of different spellings in our family.
Yeah, yeah, there really is. And so when did I share? I did share my screen, didn't I? So check this out, Andrew. I'm going to share this with you. And we did go back up to this particular screen here, and we went back to the year 1620, right? And you'll see that now that's an unknown McIlvale. Now
Yeah.
McIlvale, now that's a heck of a name, isn't it? And you'll see how through the family tree the name has just changed. Look at that. There we go. Mackervale. You see that there, Mackervale? I mean, it has been spelled so many different ways. It's just ridiculous. But when we go back here and we look at that original spelling, it goes back to 1620, which I think the genealogist for the McMillan clan probably needs to do a little further research because we can take our records back to 1620, but they're able to actually take theirs back to like I think it's 1777. And what I mean by that is if I go to, oh, you know what? I missed it. I got rid of it. So here's what I'll do here. So Let's bring that up. That's all you got to do. Just clan McMillan, boom, and bam, bring it up. There's their official website right here. And when you go to the spellings of McMillan, now this should look familiar to most of our viewers because that, if you look at the top of our thumbnail, if Robert's in backstage, if Robert can pull that up real quick on an overlay, I don't know if he can do that with me being sharing my screen or not, but that's what you'll see underneath the name McInville Ghost Talk, because that was our original name spelling right there. And these are all of the variants under that particular name. Now, why there's two, this is actually the spelling for McMillan. The reason there's two, it goes back to that same thing I just told you about. We had the rebellion and we had those that was going with the actual leadership. Well, they broke apart. And this is when they broke apart, this is what they became. And that's the Gaelic spelling of McMillan and the Gaelic spelling for our name now. And these are the spelling variants. Now, if you come scroll down here to 1777, well, what do you see?
Yep, there's ours.
And it's actually there a couple of times too, if you really think about it. It's there. And you actually have the actual spelling on how it was when they came over from Scotland. There's the actual spelling, McInville. And that's the same exact name that you see right at the top, up here, 1620. That's the tie-in. And yes, we are related to the McMillans, and there is DNA proof to support that, without going into deep details on that and going and sharing all those headache screens. That's something that me and Drew can pick apart and we can take a look at. But there's a lot to that. So, but there is DNA proof to back that up. So that's pretty cool stuff. We're going to try to hurry up and get all that figured out for Robert Humphreys because I know he's pretty excited about it. Another one that's been looking into it is Brian James. His last name is McCraw. And we recently found out that he is part of the McRae clan in Scotland, Drew.
Is that a lot of us go back to Scotland?
Yeah, well, when you think about the MC or the MAC prefix to any name, whether it's McIntosh, McIntyre, McInville, McRae, I don't care what it is, MC or MAC, anything, it means in Scottish, it means the son of. So it would make sense that, in Scotland, there's a lot of MCs and a lot of MACs because that's, there were a lot of sons born. So, and that's what they call them because back then they didn't really call them, they didn't have surnames. So they named them after either the region that they're from or the place that they lived, or maybe they were named after a parent's profession or something like that. Well, that's how the MC come about, was son of. So that's how it works like that, man. How about you, Drew, man? You got any questions for me?
Not. I mean, I have like a paranormal question maybe to see.
Hey, it's paranormal, man. That's all paranormal.
Because I kind of have a question. I have an answer for mine, but like in the paranormal field, you have a lot of personal experiences.
Yeah.
What would be one personal experience that you wish you would have caught on camera?
Matter of fact, this just took place literally, I would say, less than a year ago. I was investigating a cemetery here in Glendale, Arizona. And at the time, I was just carrying a EMF meter with me, and I wanted to go check out this particular area. And honestly, I don't even know why I was going over there, but I was in kind of a rapid movement, I was walking kind of fast. And I just happened to look up and I seen this figure standing at a looked like a sculpture, but the sculpture had a lot of writing on the front. It's really flat in the front, pretty, like it had names and stuff on it.
Yeah.
But the sculpture's probably a good 10 feet tall. And I look up and I see the left profile as if something was literally looking at that sculpture. And it wasn't very much shorter than that sculpture. I'm going to guess maybe this thing was standing 7-8 feet tall at least. And all of a sudden I heard something shuffle right behind me. And just as soon as I looked back to make sure nothing was there, I looked back up and I saw it darting across, and like within just a matter of a split second, that thing had ran at least 200 yards.
Hmm.
And that's when I determined, man, these things run fast. I
Yeah.
see I see shows and programs a lot where people run. Let me tell you what, you're not running from this, okay? Forget it. Don't
No.
run. Where are you going to run to? You can't outrun this stuff, man. It's if it wants to catch you, it can catch you. And you got to remember, time isn't for them like it is for us, okay? You want to talk about quantum leaping? They can quantum leap because that dude quantum leaped his butt all the way across that cemetery.
Well, it's just like we say, we've been thinking about with our group when it comes to paranormal, like the spirits, they may not be on the same time frame we are. They could be on a different time frame. So that's why you may see them moving quicker sometimes and stuff too.
Yeah, and to be honest with you, I'm not quite sure that time frames even exist for them, to be honest. I'm leaning more towards the fact that time don't exist for them.
Yeah. You never know.
Yeah, absolutely. So, well, we're reaching about the top of the hour, Andrew. And, I think we had a good intro for everybody, kind of let you guys know what we're about, what we're doing, the direction we're going into, somewhat about how we got started, things like that. And, we're going to love to be answering a lot of questions for you guys. But before we bore you anymore with any of our family stories tonight, we're going to go ahead and cut it right here. And, we're going to go into a commercial and then we're going to go right into our outro. So, hey, we're pretty proud of this outro. Stick around to check it out. Don't forget to go to Parapost Network, download their app, give them a bunch of love, give them some support. Brian J. Laverty, he is a good guy. He's like a brother to me, man. I love the guy. And just give him some love. And you got any last words there, Drew?
So I want to say it was a good first show. Everybody,
Absolutely.
definitely everybody come back next week, see what we got in store, and see if you got any questions you want to ask us next week. Be sure to ask us.
11 p.m. Central Time, 12 a.m.
12 p.
Eastern.
Eastern.
Correct, correct. Okay, man. So that be the case, I'm going to go into our sponsor and then we'll end it.
Okay.
All right, Drew. We will see you next week, brother.
See you next week.